NBC Sports presents the 46th running of the Daytona 500, live from Daytona Beach, Florida. The sun has come out, it's a breezy afternoon, and for 43 of the greatest drivers in the world, in front of 200,000 fans, their afternoon begins by shaking hands with the President of the United States, who arrived just a few moments ago, with Dale Earnhardt Jr., Elliott Sadler, and the rest of the starting field. That's the thrill that begins their afternoon. For one driver, one more thrill is just 500 miles away, the thrill of winning the Daytona 500. Welcome to the fourth season of NASCAR on NBC. And now it's my pleasure to throw it upstairs to the three men that have the honor of calling the Great American Race. Allan Bestwick, Wally Dallenbach, and the 1975 Daytona 500 winner, Benny Parsons.
Bill, thank you. We're very excited to bring you the Great American Race this afternoon. You know, last Sunday, Dale Jr. called BP here the King of Cool. We like to call him the Professor. He's the Professor of racing. He's that 500 champion. He's a former NASCAR champion. And the Professor would like to teach us the word of the day.
Well, that's just been the word of the last week, and that word is balance. That's when all four tires on the car work exactly the same. Those tires that Dave Burns showed you earlier in the show, that wear was caused because the car was not balanced properly. But balance is a very elusive thing. He keeps moving around. A car might be balanced today for 100 miles, but not for 400. The guy that keeps the car balanced the best has a better chance of winning the Daytona 500.
And BP, if you don't have that car balanced, you could cause a lot of trouble. And I know that firsthand yesterday in the Busch race. I had a great race car. There was a guy, Mike Bliss, didn't have the balance on his car. He got a little bit loose, and he took a bunch of cars out. You know, most of the time with this race, it's not if the big wreck happens, it's when. A couple of drivers and I were talking before the race, the driver's intro, maybe we should back off after the green flag drops. Let the wreck happen. But my team owner and teammate, Joe Nemechek, said, we got two good race cars. Let's try to get to the front and get in front of the wreck. Oh, we just almost made it, too. We were only a couple of cars away.
Just that much.
Just that close.
But you're feeling good. You're ready to go.
I feel good. It's going to be a great race today.
Yes, it is. This Daytona 500 is filled with dramatic happenings and fantastic finishes in its history. We look forward to seeing how this one plays out over the next few hours. The President is among the 200,000 on hand, and the Daytona 500 pre-race ceremony comes up in just moments from now.
And now it's our pleasure to welcome the President of the United States, George W. Bush, to the Daytona 500. Welcome, Mr. President.
I am really glad to be here. If you've never been to a Daytona 500, it's hard for me to describe what it's like to be down here with the drivers and to see the huge crowd and to feel the excitement for one of America's great sporting spectacles.
Well, there are 200,000 people here and millions more watching on television. Right. They took the day off from work, so we'll make this a race-related conversation instead of a work-related conversation. You've been to some great sporting events, including throwing out the first pitch at the World Series after 9/11. Can you tell us about that experience, sir?
Well, that was one that happened, you know, when the Yankees were helping to lift the spirit of the New York citizens, and I walked out there and the chants of the crowd were loud, and it was just an exciting moment. It was a historic moment for me personally, because it was after such tragedy. I was a little nervous about getting my fastball over the plate.
Well, you did a great job. You've been to the Salt Lake Olympic Games, to the Army-Navy game. How does this compare?
Well, this is huge. This covers a lot of territory. You know, the track is big, the expanse is big. There's people in the infield. There's people who've been camping out here. This is more than an event. It's a way of life for a lot of people, and you can feel the excitement when you're here. And I'm really looking forward to watching a lot of the race.
Now, in December, you had several drivers to the White House. You allowed them to park their cars on the grass. That was very nice of you, sir.
Well, it takes a special person to be allowed to be parking on the grass there at the White House. But it's neat to meet these drivers. They're courageous people. They know no fear, and yet they're in good shape. They're well conditioned in order to stay in these small little cars for as long as they do, and obviously got great reflexes. And so, in meeting them, I was meeting some great athletes.
Now, is there any truth to the rumor that Tony Stewart asked for a presidential pardon after his tough season?
Well, he came in as the champ. He wasn't asking for any pardons. He was asking for a photograph, and I was happy to pose with him because he was the champ. And I saw him. I needled him when I came by because he's got. You know, sometimes you get a reputation when you're in public life, but he's a good, solid citizen, a good fella.
Your motorcade moves pretty fast. Any desire to ride in one of these, sir?
Well, I'd like to, but I'm afraid the agents wouldn't let me. You know, I flew fighters when I was in the Guard, and I like speed. And it would have been fun to drive up on these banks. People don't understand how steep these banks are, though, till you see them in person. And I was with Bill Elliott, who was telling me that he set the course record here at 210 miles an hour. I can't imagine taking a bank at 210 miles an hour.
All 5 branches of the armed services represented here this weekend on the track, and I know that's important to you, sir.
Well, it is, and one of the things about NASCAR and the NASCAR fans is they support our military. We've got a lot of really good young men and women who are sacrificing for our country. And these fans and the people of the France family and the drivers, they stand with our military, and for that I'm grateful. I'm the commander-in-chief of a great group of people, and to know that citizens who support NASCAR support them makes me feel good.
I know you're a sports fan, and I know you had ownership interest in the Texas Rangers.
Right.
The big news is A-Rod going to the Yankees.
Yeah, I was just as surprised as the Yankee fans and the Boston Red Sox fans when I opened up my paper today. It obviously is a big deal, and it looked like the deal's going to happen. At least the sports pages said they were close to concluding the deal. A-Rod's a great player, and the Yanks are going to be a heck of a team with him in the infield.
Mr. President, it's truly an honor. Thank you for attending the Daytona 500. Enjoy your day.
Thrilled to be here.
Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Back upstairs to Allan.
Okay, Bill, thanks. An already special day, Daytona 500 Day, made all the more so by the presence of the President of the United States. Now it's butterfly time for the drivers. They begin buckling into their machines. The start is coming up. NBC Sports live at Daytona International Speedway, where the Daytona 500 is moments from getting started. We go trackside for the Invocation National Anthem and command to start engines.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Championship driver, Mr. Bill Elliott.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the most famous words in racing, the President of the United States.
Thank you, Bill. Laura and I are honored to be here for this fantastic spectacle. We asked God's blessings on the drivers, NASCAR fans, and on our great nation. Now it is my honor to start this race. Gentlemen, start your engines.
A wonderful pre-race ceremony, and now it's time. It's time for the 46th running of the Daytona 500.
NBC's coverage of the Daytona 500 is brought to you by Nextel coast-to-coast walkie-talkies in under a second. NASCAR and Nextel, partners in speed. By Mach 3 Turbo Champion, the only razor used by the Gillette Young Guns. By the new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution. And by Coca-Cola, let's make it real.
Field of starters in today's Daytona 500 still sitting along the pit lane, warming the oils and fluids in the cars before they roll off to begin their parade and pace laps and approach the green flag in today's Great American Race.
65!
Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is proud to sponsor the Bud Pole Award given to the fastest qualifier in each NASCAR Nextel Cup race. Greg Biffle, second-year driver from Vancouver, Washington, earned his first Bud Pole Award, zipping around this 2.5-mile track at an average of over 188 miles an hour since 1979. Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $8 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. Unfortunately for Biffle, he won't get to keep that pole position because of an engine change in his car since Thursday's qualifying. qualifying races by rule, he'll have to go to the back of the field. Still, we show you the starting grid for today's Daytona 500 in the order in which they're scheduled to take the green flag. Biffle and Elliott Sadler alongside each other on the front row, but everyone in that inside lane when Biffle drops to the back is going to move up a spot, VP.
Which will put the third-place car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., number 8, on the pole for the Daytona 500. Sterling Marlin will start second.
Tony Stewart's car repaired after a crash. You heard about that earlier. He's going to go from row number 3. And Mark Martin, his 20th try in the Daytona 500. He's not won it yet.
And Jamie McMurray, very fast. And look, last year's winner, Michael Waltrip inside right, row 5.
Well, Jeff Burton, Matt Kenseth, the defending series champion in row number 6. You heard from Bobby Labonte earlier on Countdown to Green, one of Joe Gibbs' 2 entries. He's in row number 7 with Joe Nemechek in the U.S. Army-sponsored machine. Ricky Rudd driving for the Wood Brothers. Starts back in row number 8, his 27th 500, most of drivers in today's race.
Rusty Wallace would love to win this 500, has never won.
The 2002 winner, Ward Burton, in row number 10 with Ryan Newman, hoping not to end up upside down like he did a year ago.
The rookie, Johnny Sauter, inside row 11. Jeremy Mayfield on the outside.
Ohio's Dave Blaney and Michigan's Johnny Benson. In row number 12, Californian Casey Mears and Wisconsinite Scott Wimmer in row 13. Another rookie driver, Casey Kane, row 14.
Who replaced Bill Elliott this year. Elliott's going to run a reduced schedule.
There's John Andretti. Uncle Mario won this race back in the late 1960s, and Robbie Gordon there with him. You look at the rest of the starting field. VP, fire up the old onboard radio over there.
Let's try to talk to Greg Biffle. Hey, Greg, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Parker on my tag, 37 seconds.
He's talking to his crew, talking about what the tachometer is saying. 3,700 RPMs in second gear. That will be pit road speed, 55 miles per hour.
37.6.
Cars do not have speedometers. They have to go by a tachometer. Let's try again. Greg Biffle, Benny Parsons, you got me?
That's it, BP.
Hey, for a week you've been on the penthouse, the 25th floor. In about one lap, you're going to the basement, to the very back of the field. Your thoughts?
I'll tell you what, the National Guard car is really, really fast. This Yates round horsepower under the hood. I don't think I'm going to be there very long. I got a really good race car. You know, the Bud Pole trophy's in my motorhome, and they've made the check out to me. So it's unfortunate we got to go to the back, but we think we got a really good race car.
Can you beat Junior?
If I'm in front of him, I can beat him, but I'm not going to be for quite some time. So we'll see. Pit strategy is going to be important. When this car's out front, it's really fast.
Good luck, Greg.
Greg Biffle getting set to pull out of line and drop to the end of the field on this pace lap after the engine change in his number 16 Ford. A couple of drivers trying to qualify for the 500 unable to make the field. Kirk Shelmerdine and Andy Hillenberg had the heartbreak on Thursday. They'll have to watch today instead of being in the Great American Race.
As you can see, not only Biffle goes to the back of the field, Scott Riggs, Ryan Newman, Ricky Craven, Derek Cope, all will move back from their starting position to the rear of the field.
Which may not be a bad place to be. We talked about that earlier. I mean, if, you know, first couple laps, boy, are very tense. Everybody's feeling their cars out. One nice thing about it is you're driving these cars right now, and all the butterflies are gone. You're ready to go. Those engines are running, so let's go racing.
That bright yellow car is a 2004 Chevy Corvette Coupe, the official pace car of the Daytona 500. Pretty appropriate. Corvette, kind of an American icon, if you will, in performance cars. Wally, I guess your driving lessons paid off.
My student, he looks good.
Ben Affleck. He looks a little calmer than he did the other day when he was riding with you, though. I can understand that.